Hi, so I got cut off when I started talking about toxic relations in a couple. It seems like my phone can only make half an hour videos somehow. I don't know. So I will try to briefly talk about this thing, toxicity in couple relations. Although, as I said, um, I don't do that. I don't create it. I don't accept it to be thrown at me. As I explained in the previous video, toxicity is something that I don't engage with, and I try my best to avoid it as possible, as gracefully as possible, without holding resentment. Because if you cut off a toxic relation, and you're doing it with hate um, and wishing ill on the other one, then you end up creating your own toxicity. So I don't see the point of cutting it off in the first place, right? So when you literally, what I am explaining and advocating, and I've been living all my life, is when you cut off relations honestly because they are harming you. So you're doing it out of just normal decent self-defense, you know and only when you decide that that individual does it on purpose, so that individual doesn't want to create a positive environment among the two of you. So I want to be very clear, because I'm sure many will try to twist my words. I don't advocate cutting off relations for no reason, or spiteful, or trying to harm the other one, or being in negative relations or bad relations with people in general. I just advocate, though, dealing and cutting off those type of relations which are toxic on purpose, created toxic um, on purpose, right? And in a couple, I have been talking a little bit about it in the video in entitled, I think, understanding about the assignment, understanding the assignment of a 5D couple. Again, as I said in my previous video, I encountered a full-fledged toxic relation um, pretty late in my life, when I encountered to 2014, right? So 2014, um, when I encountered an individual whom I was not necessarily interested to pursue a relationship with initially. Actually, we met through work. He was investigating a case in which I was a victim of a stolen identity. Somebody created a page on some sort of social media, or I don't know how to call that, a website, and they stole my identity, my picture, my name, and they were posting things related to diplomatic relations. So it was pretty much work related, and it was a case of stolen identity, somebody who was putting out information and using my name, stuff like this. So it was a work relation. I don't do personal couple relation with anybody at work. That was actually a policy of mine, and I very, very, very seldom break that, because I think it's specifically, I think is that if it doesn't go well, then you're gonna have to face that individual, and you're gonna have to face him in your work environment where other people are watching you, and it's they're gossiping and they're stuff like this. So I usually don't do that. But he actually pushed much for a relationship, you know. I was not even defining in my mind what kind of relation. I wasn't even thinking in terms of marriage, as I said in the previous video, because uh, I got married very early, and I was married most of my life. So I was like, hell no, I'm not interested to get into another marriage, just because the marriage I had ended up so badly for me, after I've put so much effort into it, and I've been so devoted, so loyal, and I was, making lots of efforts for the other one, putting always myself last, as a priority, and always putting him first. So that was not a very good experience I had. So I was like more focused on studying, traveling, doing my work. I was hoping to build a business, to get out of a public institution and have my own business, to become an entrepreneur and so on. Anyhow, so then this individual pushed for a relation. And then I was like, okay, maybe if it develops in a relation, maybe it's okay to take some time and have some fun, go out, go dancing, do the fun stuff, stuff like this. So I was mostly thinking, not in very determined terms. So he pushes towards a relation. And when he sees that I accept to go out and meet for coffee and for dinner or so on, then he starts then sort of uh, feeding me some sort of narrative in which we should have an open relation. And at that point, I was like, I was not aware. So this is why I gave you the other example previously about my life, to explain that most of my time I've been in a long-term relation which transformed into a marriage. So I was not so much out there on the dating scene, and I was also not interested, because I could have easily just decide not to marry that individual and start dating, but I was not interested. I didn't see the point of going and meeting many people. I was like, okay, if we are in love since we were teenagers and we stay with each other, I think that's a beautiful story. That was in my mind. I had many friends who didn't think the same way, and they were more interested in exploring. I was not, actually, to be honest. So I was not interested what is out there on the dating scene, and I was only talking about dating to the extent which my friends would come to me complaining about their experiences in dating men, and I was trying to find advices for them or whatever. But I never heard of this because most of the people in my environment were also married in long-term relations and stuff like this. So I never encountered this kind of, first of all, toxic relations or this kind of open relations. So to me, it was a really big shock when he actually, I found it very insulting when he said we should have an open relation. And I said, what is that? And it was like, each should be dating, what is an open relation, when each should go with whoever they want, whenever they want, do whatever they want and stuff like this. And I'm like, I didn't react initially. I was thinking in my mind, what the fuck is he talking about? What do you mean? I find this insulting. And honestly speaking, I don't want to be rude to anyone, but I still find it insulting to this day. And I don't imagine how come a woman accepts this, honestly. Why would you accept to be in an open relation? Then why are you in a relation? What kind of relation is that? Um, and from I told him, this is not working, not with me. I don't do this. I understand that this is what you practice. I understand you have many, because he was explaining to me that he has many women with whom he meets and engages sexually even, and I was like, this is not something that will work with me. I don't do this. Basically, this is what I said. I said, I don't do this, and you don't bring this into my life. Also, I don't think it's healthy, you know. So I had a very honest discussion with him. I told him honestly what I thought. Um, and I didn't, I was not rude to him. I didn't say you're insulting or anything. So I was trying to be very polite, precisely because I knew I would encounter him in the workplace anywhere. And so I was like, okay, I don't want this to divert into a fight, into a scandal, let's deal with this as mature people. As I understand, you like this kind of relations, open relations. I don't do this. So, okay, let's each of us mind our own business, our own life. Let's just split. I cannot explain to you. This was not possible. Because this individual then became so enraged. It was like, we have to have a relation and it has to be an open relation. I'm like, you're not going to impose to me what I do in my life, and you're not going to bring this mess into my life. This is crazy. And he was like, uh, we have to have a relation. We have to, basically, he was just insisting on sex, because open relation, to my mind, this is what it is. It's just a sexual relation which you have with an individual, which is not a relation. by the way. It's just a sexual encounter, essentially. And then he said, you if he started threatening me. So he said, if you don't accept to have sex with me, then I will go have sex with other women. And I'm like, okay, this is the door. Do you see it? Please go, and don't talk to me. Don't explain to me how it was. You know, he was like, what do you mean go? Why are you sending me to other women? And I'm like, I'm not sending you to other women. You said you want to go to other women. It's you who said this. It's you who said you want the open relation. Then go. Why you need to explain this to me? Why you need to even tell me what? I don't understand. uh I don't understand the point of this discussion. If you want to go with other women, please go ahead. This is the door, go. And he was like puzzled. He was like, no, you must chase me. I'm like, what to do? You must chase. What would I chase you for? He was to convince me, to be in a relation. I'm like, I'm not going to convince you of anything. I find that stupid and insulting. If you want to be in I was not pursuing a relation with you in the first place. You wanted a relation with me. And then when I said, okay, let's try it, you said you want an open relation, which is not a relation. What the fuck is this? And now you want me to convince you to have a relation? This is crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is just madness. I cannot wrap my mind around this. This already in itself is, this discussion, it becomes too toxic, and it just makes me wonder, why am I even having this discussion with you? So he says, you must convince me to change my mind. I'm saying, why? Maybe this is what you need. You're grown up, you know what is best for you. If this is what you want, fine, go ahead. My point is, I don't do this. And also, I will not allow you to bring this mess into my life with so many women that you engage with. This is very unhealthy, by the way. I'm just telling you. But whatever, if this is what you practice and this is what you like, go ahead. It's your problem. And then he was like, no, you must pursue and convince me and show me that you are so good that I only want to be with you. I said, this is madness. This is really madness. I said, no, I don't have to convince you of anything. Nobody is perfect on the face of the planet. Everybody is perfect for one person, and they should meet and they should be in a relationship with. That's all. I don't have to convince you that I'm best or I'm better or I'm. If you don't see me that way already, better go. You should go. Because if you don't see me that way, it means I'm not the one for you. That's all. It doesn't mean I'm not good. It doesn't mean I'm not best. It does mean that you need somebody else, not me. That's for sure. If you have to think twice about it, if you think you have a choice already, for me, that's over. We're done. It means clearly I'm not the one for you. When you will meet the right one, and I told him, I said, when you will meet the right one, you will have no doubt in your mind. You will not try to compare with the other one. You will not seek to check if you feel better with somebody else or stuff like this. You will know it in your heart, in your soul, in your energy, in your mind. You will know that's the one. If you don't feel that way, I'm not the one. Even more, I will say this. Even if the one that you're dating is maybe not the one with whom you're going to spend the rest of your life with, out of respect for that person, you should devote a certain amount of time, how much you're willing to, a week, a month, a year, to be with that person. And then when you decide to move on, you should tell the other person, and each of you moves on. Not like this open relation when you keep going to other people, the other one is going to other people, then none of you knows who does what with whom, and it's a mess, and it's basically, to me, it's very promiscuous. To me, it's very promiscuous. It's just, this is not acceptable. Well, and I said, okay, from this forward, I will tell this: only we meet for coffee in public places. Um, there's nothing between us. I do not, and he kept pushing. No, but we should have sex. No, we shouldn't. Actually, is you will be only one colleague as all other colleagues. And he was like, but still, we should have sex. No, we shouldn't. I don't do sex with colleagues. That's part of what a relationship is, you know. He said, no, but we should do sex as a sport. No, actually, I pay gym for sport. And this is a very confusing type of thinking that you have. And I don't see the point even of having this discussion. To me, this discussion in itself, it's offensive already. I can have this discussion with you, not as a potential partner, but as a colleague and a friend, if you want. I have many discussions with many of my colleagues or friends in which I try to help them figure out things if they believe that I could be of help, right? So I can help you understand that this is a very toxic way of looking at things and disrespectful to the woman. I asked him, I said, how many women have you encountered that accepted this shit in their life? And he was actually laughing about those women, and he was saying himself, all of them think they will change me, but none of them changes me. So then why you tell me to try to change you, even if none of them, all of these women, didn't succeed to change you? And they said, the change should come from within. If you don't decide to change, why would I waste my time to convince you to do what? But maybe this is what you need, what you're doing. Maybe this is something that you need to be doing. And he says, no, but you should convince me otherwise. But then if you feel like you should be convinced, then what does it mean? Either that you're trying to make a mockery out of me, or that you're not sure about yourself and what you're doing. One of the two, but either one is not a healthy place to stay in. I even told him once, I said, if I would ever decide to be in a open relation, which will never happen because I don't see the point of open relations. But if I would ever decide to be in an open relation, why would you be the one to call the shots? If it's an open relation, why would you be the one to determine how that relation is going? And I said, well, how does this work for you? Do you have like a schedule when to go to each woman? How do you work this out? How does it work? How do you know when to meet with whom? How do you manage for them not to meet with each other and have fights or something? And they said, if I would ever accept such a thing, I think I should meet all the other women. Let's meet, have a discussion. Maybe it should be the women who should decide to whom you should go in each day. And maybe we can actually make a schedule out of it. And you will be the one to go to whomever we decide, whenever we decide. How about we switch this around? And she said, this is offensive. Okay, good. If this is offensive to you, it was equally offensive to me when you proposed it. Just so you know. And I actually was thinking to myself, and I was gonna, if I want open relations, I would decide who and how and when would be in that open relation. What makes you think that you would be involved in that? Anyhow, this didn't turn out very well. Of course, we had lots of fights for many months. To me, it was really peculiar, really peculiar. I was not interested in continue this discussion with him, with anyone actually, because I thought I was in shock. I couldn't imagine. I said, how come people don't have other things to do? I don't understand. But he insisted on having these discussions because he kept insisting he wouldn't accept my clear proposal. Okay, we're not just colleagues. We don't try to get into anything with each other. We're just colleagues then, because the way you see life and relations doesn't match the way I see it. And he kept pushing for more, but more in terms of convincing me to accept his definition of whatever open relation means. I didn't appreciate that at all. I found it very offensive, very um, toxic, extremely toxic. And then throughout this time, I had somewhere around me a young woman, very young woman, and I was actually expressing my puzzlement to her. I said, "What kind of are you dating much?" Yes. What the hell happens in this dating scene? What the hell is this open relations and who's doing this? Oh my God. And you cannot explain. This woman was very knowledgeable in this stuff. So he kept explaining to me about different concepts of open relations, um, uh, and about, how did she say, yeah, fuck buddies, even, which is, as I understand, also some sort of open relation. Anyhow, so I said, why you people do this? I said, excuse me, I don't understand why you people do this. What is the purpose? How you do this? And she was trying to explain to me, how this works. And basically, I kept asking questions to understand what's the psychology behind this. And she kept saying, that it's essentially that it was a domination sort of fight, and each one has to outdo the other. Who dominates the other? It's a power struggle. It's a basically a programming type of toxic, engaging, fighting, and stuff like this. And she explained to me, I was mesmerized, that there are lines already pre-established for doing this. And I was in shock. I must tell you, I was in shock to learn all of this, that people mess up their lives in such a way. I believe this is very toxic. I didn't accept that, of course. Actually, I never spoke to that individual again. I only had some, a few months in 2000, early 2014, spring actually, when we had these discussions. We tried to meet for coffee a few times, but he kept insisting to push his point of view until I really got fed up with this kind of toxic, offensive way of seeing things. And I cut him off, of course. Um, uh, Basically, what can I say about this toxic, because this is what God wanted me to talk about toxic relations. This essentially come, as I said previously, from a darkness attachment. It's a darkness onto that individual, which can come from many different things. It can come from home environment. It can come from sort of friends circles, school environment, work environment, type of relations built throughout time. It is very complicated to me because I did not make a statistics to understand exactly how spread this is among people, because very much of my life, most of my life, I didn't encounter this thing, and especially I didn't encounter it in being explained to me in such a adamant way of seeing things. You know, usually this. So I'm not sure exactly who exactly needs help with this. I'm not quite sure exactly why God is making me talk about this. As I understand from God, there are many people. God shows me there are many people engaging in this. Um, what can I say? I think it's toxic for you all people. Yeah, I think it's unacceptable for a woman to be in this kind of relation. I think it's disrespectful. As I said to that individual at that point in time, I think you can stay even for 1 week in a relationship, but respect the other one enough that you tell him when you move on to somebody else. I don't think it's decent to overlap different relations, or as you call it, open relations. Um, I believe that you should be honest and tell the other one. And I don't think anyone should be accepting that your partner is going with somebody else. I think it's toxic from many points of view. From energetic point of view, clearly, you need to understand that you open karmic cycle with each and every individual with whom you engage sexually. And if you accept that the man you're dating is dating other women, you must know that you open karmic cycles with those women and with the men with whom those women are going. So you open endless, just through one open relation, you open endless karmic cycles in your life. I don't know if you understand this. So, one with your partner, with the partners with whom he engages, and with the partners with whom his partners engage. So, these are individuals whom you might not even meet, might not even know. So, you don't even know what kind of karma they bring into your life. Um, when you do this, to me personally, it seems like it's impossible to preserve a clean energy body. It's impossible to preserve energy awareness. It's impossible to even detect your gifts, to work with your gifts. It's impossible because it's so much darkness that you bring open onto you. There are so many karmic cycles that you open with so many individuals that you have never met, or even if you met, it's even worse. I don't even know how to pinpoint this. I think it's detrimental. It's deeply toxic. Um, I would advise not to engage in this. Clearly, if you somehow end up being in some sort of third party situation, uh, because you weren't told, because you were cheated on, because things like this, that still opens karmic cycles. You should cut that off, and you should clean energy. You should claim justice, judgment, and punishment, so God can actually help you close those karmic cycles. Because if you keep them open, they will keep draining not only your energy, but also everything related to your ascension. So will impact your reality. They will become determinant for your reality. It's not, whoever believes that casual sex exists, that's nonsense. uh, is the most intimate act that you can physically have, and it creates strings which lasts for a long time. It opens karmic cycles. It creates attachments or possessions or obsessions or so on. And it's, to me, I think it's very hard to get rid of those, and it's a lot of spiritual work to get rid of those. I think even a simple way of living life, in normal, decent, respectful relations, meaning we just one individual at a time, because I think that's the only way how this can be healthy. And still, that brings a lot of karmic cycles, let alone if you start doing this kind of open relation. I think this is really, really toxic. And I believe that individuals must become aware that this is not something um, to joke about, or you can pursue this, because as I understand, there are many people who do it, but um, you must also understand and accept the consequences of it. And you must understand that nobody who actually is pursuing a spiritual path will accept to be drawn into that. You must know. It takes many years to close karmic cycles. A karmic cycle most times has 7 years, just one karmic cycle, but many karmic cycles repeat themselves because you do not detect the bondage you do until you learn about it, until you learn how to fight it, until you do fight it, and so on. It takes time. So many karmic cycles repeat themselves, so you get to have multiple karmic cycles with the same individual until you actually learn how to cut it, and until you learn to master energy work. Because there's a one thing, the decision that you consciously make, and it's another thing to also align your energy body with the conscious decision you made and cut off all the darkness that's being thrown at you. by that individual. So there's a lot of work. And I already spoke about understanding the assignment of a couple according to 5D. You must know that you're supposed to have a purpose together. You're supposed to mutually support the other. This kind of toxic engagement, like that young lady was teaching me, to make him jealous, to make him, why would I want to make him jealous? I don't understand why. Then to make him wonder, to make him anxious, to make him, what the fuck is this? What are you people so sick in your mind? The things she was saying to me that I should do in order to gain dominance on that people, you should cheat on him because then he will come immediately after you. What? You don't understand. The day when I decide I see another partner, that means I close the door. The former partner, the one that before, has no access to me anymore. I'm not gonna drag an innocent person into this and just pretend to be dating him just to make jealous the stupid asshole who doesn't know if he wants to be with me. Excuse me? Go the fuck away from here if you don't know. I'm not gonna just hurt people on purpose and become toxic myself to others just in order to teach him a lesson. Just let him learn his lesson. He's not gonna get to change who I am, you know. These were discussions I cannot explain to you. I was in deep shock on one hand on what that man said to me, but I was in deeper shock about what this young woman was trying to teach me what to do. I was like, oh my god, this is not possible. People cannot be living like this. um yeah, but unfortunately it seems like it is so. um you must become aware of the consequences of this style of living. For those of you who do this, please don't take it as an insult. I believe this is deeply, deeply wrong. um I don't see that it's helping anyone, but anyhow, that is your decision. However, from an energetic point of view, you must understand the consequences of it. And you must understand um, what it takes to clean that off. Okay, now it's 33 minutes, so I think I should end this before my video is cut off again, because it seems like it can only register like 30 minutes. I don't know. I think this is what God wanted me to say. I don't know what else He wants me to say because I never engaged for long. This was the most toxic relation, and the longest time that I engaged with somebody in a toxic type of encounter, right? So I guess this is what he wanted me to say. I don't know. It's maybe for the people that are in these toxic relations. I think, I imagine.